I lost my sister Jack to cancer several years ago. During her final month, she learned her husband Sam was cheating on her. She also became aware that he was planning to make a life with his affair partner once she was gone. She was angry, hurt, betrayed, and disgusted by him. He'd made all these plans with his other woman with the money she would be leaving behind. Sister had sued one of her former doctors for medical negligence and won, so she was sitting on a very life-changing amount. She did not want Sam or his other woman or any future kids of theirs to benefit from her death and the negligence that caused her very treatable cancer to be fatal. So she changed where everything would go and set up a trust with me as the trustee. Once Sam learned this, after Jack's death, he did everything to try to carry out damage control with me. But when he realized I knew about his affair and was disgusted with him and would not be helping him break the law, he tried to cut me off from Sky and Belle, which led me to fight for visitation in court under our grandparents' family rights law. I won. I see my nibblings every other Saturday, all major holidays, and he cannot prevent phone access between us. Sam married his other woman and now has additional children and her child from a prior relationship who moved in with them 3-ish years ago. He's asked me to include his other children, and in the past I would say no, but it's continued to the point where I now ignore his requests completely. Sky, teen male, and Belle, young teen female, told me their dad tries to involve them, but they don't want to include their step-sibling or half-siblings. They want to live with my family and me, but I don't have grounds for that, so I just see and speak to them as much as I can, and we spend time together when we get it. But they clearly want to keep me, my husband, and their cousins for themselves. We're their only extended maternal family. Sky told me a couple of weeks ago that things might get worse because their dad was adopting his stepchild, and the oldest half-sibling is asking more questions about why they don't get to come. Sky was right, and Sam told me the kids wanted to come and I should open my heart. He decided to approach me at the school gate and called me out for ignoring his requests. A couple of other parents who heard him say I ignored his kids were mumbling that I was a pretty heartless person to let kids get hurt in the middle of this. Sam also accused me of turning my nibblings against him and their family, and he said refusing to include the kids shows how much I don't care about their hurts. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. He betrayed his wife on her deathbed and wanted to steal from his 2 kids. He wants a free babysitter and some alone time with his cheating wife. This is like asking your sister, if she were alive, to watch her husband and affair partner's children. She wouldn't, and you are 100% not obligated. His other children need to learn their place in the family tree. Eventually, they'll stop asking. The time you spend with your nibblings could be the same time their half and step-siblings spend with their mother's family. I think your former brother-in-law is being manipulative. He's trying to use you as childcare or something worse. I think he's trying to get me to bond with the kids so I'll break the law and go against the trust for my nibblings, and they'll all get their hands on the money my sister left. It's disgusting, but I know he can think like that. It would be illegal for me to do so, but he thinks he can make me soft enough to risk it. Yes, the audacity of this guy is driving me bonkers. Next time your brother-in-law tries shaming you in front of other parents, you should point at him and loudly say, "You cheated on my dying sister. And those kids you're trying to shame me with are you and your affair partner's kids. Stay out of my life, Sam," said loud as you can to make heads turn and look. If he feels it appropriate to blast you publicly, it's fair for you to do it too. Oh, is it air the dirty family laundry time? Hold on, I made notes for this day. OP, this is about the money. He wants to use his kids to get his hands on your sister's money. If you spend time with them, he'll expect you to buy them gifts and pay for stuff. Make sure that he can't access any money you give your niece and nephew. I, 56, have 3 children. George, 27, male, Alice, 27, female, and Grace, 18, female. I was pregnant with George when my younger sister got pregnant around the same time. I was 29 and she was 18. My parents were completely unsupportive of my sister continuing or having her baby, and it resulted in her getting a job and moving in with her boyfriend, who wasn't the best. My sister gave birth to a lovely, beautiful baby, Alice, but with hormones and everything, she decided she couldn't continue living, so we got a call from sister's boyfriend and Alice's bio father about taking Alice in, as he didn't want anything to do with her since the mother was gone. Alice was an infant at the time and we just took her in. We've since raised Alice and George as twins, which is easy as they're both blonde with blue eyes. My parents and aunts went along with everything, and after a certain point we thought it was too late to tell her. And then my wonderfully smart husband decided to tell her, as she's pregnant and needs to know just in case, and now she's refusing to speak to me. I did everything I could to make her happy and healthy, and I feel I did such a good job as she never even realized. My children are on my side as they say I raised her, I was there for her, I just never had the heart to tell her. I feel like if there was a mother out there, then I would have told her, but there wasn't. I was there. Am I the idiot for not telling my daughter she's adopted until she's 27? Edit, George also didn't know he isn't really a twin till now. You are the idiot, so you've also lied to your son that he's a twin for his entire life? Wow, lady, this is some pathological liar-level dishonesty. Were they born the same day, or did you even lie about her birthday to continue the twins' farce? I'm so sorry your sister ended things, but children deserve to know if they're adopted and deserve to know that it isn't a reason for shame. Hiding it makes it seem like they're less than, which is also a huge violation of trust. You specifically say that it was too late to tell her, meaning you decided not to tell her. That's where you are the idiot. I don't know when the right time to tell someone that kind of news is, but to decide never to tell her was the wrong decision. That doesn't mean you weren't a wonderful mother and exactly what Alice needed growing up, but this is a big piece of information that Alice needs to deal with while also dealing with the fact that you weren't going to tell her. Try to look at it from her perspective. The best time is from the start. There are tons of books and resources on how to explain adoption to children and help guide parents on how to answer questions. Not telling, as you said, can cause all sorts of issues, beginning with not knowing medical history and continuing to all sorts of emotional trauma. There is zero excuse for parents to have hidden this from her for over 25 years. You lied to her. You made her believe she was connected as a twin to her brother. It's extremely important during pregnancy that she has the correct medical information, so your husband was right to tell her. You need to apologize. Your daughter has a right to be mad about something so big being kept from her. You love her, right? Then you need to realize you hurt her, even if in your mind you were doing it for the right reason. The secret was deeply impactful on how she views her whole life. Throw yourself on her misery, don't make excuses, and just apologize over and over again. My 23 female mom, 50, recently passed in an accident. A few weeks ago, I got a letter from a lawyer saying I was given a house and some money, low six-figure US dollars, in my mom's stead. When my dad passed away when I was 15, my mom and I moved. We managed to buy the smallest house in a nice neighborhood. Our next-door neighbor was Ella, now 62, who lived alone. She was divorced and her 2 children lived several hours away. Ella and my mom were fast friends and they worked in the same building until Ella's retirement. Different companies. I knew they hung out often, though I was usually busy with my things. I often played the errand girl, dropping and picking things up between our houses. Ella's children visited every New Year and they were cordial with us. I got a university scholarship overseas and since then didn't visit much. I learned that Ella's health was bad and she was often in and out of the hospital. I took a break from grad school and visited my mom in November. She got into a car accident a week after I went back. She clung to life for several days before leaving me forever. I'm still grieving even as I have to settle all her affairs. I'm her only relative, so naturally I inherited all she had. I also learned Ella passed away a few days before my mom was in the hospital. Ella's lawyer reached out to me saying Ella left the house she lived in and money for my mom in her will. Her children got her other properties and more money. Because my mom passed, as her next of kin, I'm to inherit Ella's house and money. Ella's children reached out to me. They said though I have the right to the inheritance, I should relinquish it because I'm almost nothing to Ella. They're okay with my mom receiving the inheritance because she'd been an active part of Ella's life. They said I would be greedy if I decided to take the inheritance. I think back to all the nice things my mom did for Ella over the years. Ella would want my mom to live a comfortable life, and I'm sure my mom would want that money allotted for her to help take care of me. Still, I wonder if I'm an idiot for receiving the inheritance intended for my mom just because I'm next of kin with no particular connection to Ella herself. Not the idiot. It's intended for your mom. There's no way the money will ever return to Ella's children after your mom takes her share, so it's not like they lose out. My condolences for her passing, and please use the money to live a happy life like your mom intends for you. Ella, in her mind, already intended to give that to your mom, OP, so while legally it had been Ella's till she had passed, I'm sure Ella would also understand that when she had passed, reasonably, your mother would more than likely give her assets to you, so it's not like Ella probably didn't think about this outcome. Ella made her choices. Get a lawyer to handle all of this going forward and let them deal with the family. Most wills have a 30-day clause. Beneficiaries have to survive 30 days after the death of the deceased before they can inherit, so get that looked into. Expect a legal challenge. Ella's kids have nothing to lose and plenty to gain. If Ella's kids cared, they'd have taken her shopping every week and helped her clean her curtains and change her sheets. The only greedy ones here are them. I, 24 female, got married to my husband, 26, at the start of this year, and everything was perfect except for the fact that my husband's best friend of 20 years and best man at the wedding, who I'll call Luke, proposed to his girlfriend at my wedding. I know some people find it very sweet and endearing when close friends or family get engaged at their wedding, and that's what I was told by many people at the time. I don't feel that way, however, and I thought it was very rude to announce something like that at a wedding and take the attention away from the couple. My husband disagreed and said it was okay because he gave them permission, but had somehow never thought to tell me, even though it was my wedding too. His excuse was that I might have told the fiancée, which I wouldn't because I don't even know her well. What made me even more furious was that I felt they were taking advantage of our wedding, the decor, venue, props, photographer, etc., which we put our hard-earned money into and worked hours overtime for. People were obviously very excited for them and were swooning over them the whole night, and I felt that they were intentionally showing off, which just made me angrier. I'm not mad at my husband since it was almost a year ago, but I guess I still haven't forgiven the couple. I was also friendly with Luke before, but we weren't as close, and to me he was always my husband's friend and not my friend. Since that whole situation at my wedding, I haven't talked to him except to explain how I felt about him proposing at my wedding, but my husband still contacts and meets Luke often. Luke and his fiancée announced they were getting married mid-next year and invited my husband and me. I really don't want to go and don't feel comfortable going, but I said that my husband could go if he wants to. Their wedding is also far from us, so we would have to drive quite a bit and book a hotel for the day before and after. I don't feel like it's worth it to spend my time and money on that, but my husband can if he wants. My husband said that I was being petty and self-centered. I have to go because my husband is the best man and would look odd without a date. He also said I should support the couple on their big day even if I don't like them. It would be rude because they came to our wedding. I just told him that was funny, considering how they supported us on our big day. If I'm being honest, I don't care about being rude to the couple. I just don't want my husband to think I'm intentionally trying to be rude. I just don't want to go because I don't feel comfortable going to the wedding of people I don't like. Am I the idiot if I don't go? Edit, yes, Luke had my husband's permission, but he asked my husband not to tell me because I might let it slip to the fiancée. I wouldn't tell her at all because I have no contact with her, no phone number, socials, etc. I think he didn't want to tell me because he knew I wouldn't like it. They never apologized. They were like, your hubby said yes, so it's fine, you never had a say. It's not your decision because I'm your husband's best friend, not yours, so it's his decision, etc. At the wedding, they just hogged a few tables with a bunch of close friends, who were also a few of our close friends, and did their own thing, I guess, and from what I heard when I went over, it was all about their engagement. They also hogged the photographer for a bit. Honey, show up to their wedding and announce your pregnancy in the middle of their speeches. Bring small yellow socks with your names to give to the partygoers and talk about your joys and anxieties the entire time. Become the focal point. Unethical life tip, but I'm toxic like that. Honestly, I was thinking similar, but show up announcing the divorce. Dear husband deserves that. Love, if you don't like the people that are at the wedding, don't go. You're an adult. You can make a decision yourself. It's not up to your husband. He can't just make you go if you don't want to. Especially after they took advantage of your kindness. What the heck? What makes me worried is how you've worded this story. It sounds like your husband has tried to force you to do things you hadn't wanted to do. I could have totally misunderstood, but I don't think that I have. But please stand up for yourself. You deserve the final say on this matter. I'm sorry that your wedding didn't go how you wanted, but that's your husband's fault, not Luke's or his wife's. Stop misdirecting your anger because your aim better be accurate if you need a hill to die on. Your husband is an idiot for giving them the go-ahead to get engaged at your wedding without discussing it with you. You can't blame your husband's friends since they asked first, and your husband said yes. You are the idiot because it's crap. You felt your wedding was overshadowed, but is holding a grudge like this worth the hassle? Be mad at your husband if you're going to be mad at anyone. 10 years ago, I caught my dear spouse cheating on me. Dear spouse said they didn't want a divorce and still loved me, but didn't find me attractive anymore and wanted an open marriage. Not having any family support aside from my dear spouse, not having a job good enough to support myself financially, and already having terrible self-esteem, I agreed. Since then, my dear spouse has had 3 other partners that I'm aware of. One was an ongoing affair that lasted more than 2 years, and I've had none. Not long ago, my dear spouse was bragging to some friends about the situation. From what I'd told, he was making fun of me for being so weak and spineless that I'd let him sleep around. One of these friends came to me and offered that if I was interested in taking advantage of the open marriage, they were definitely interested. I talked to dear spouse about this, and dear spouse said that if I was interested, I should go for it, so I did. Now dear spouse is mad at me, says I cheated, I've ruined our life together and destroyed their trust, told our kids, friends, and anyone that will listen that I've cheated, and how I keep blaming my dear spouse for my cheating. He told their friends and co-workers that they didn't want to be with me anymore. The only reason they're still with me is because they don't want to share custody of the kids. I remember being hurt and angry when I caught dear spouse cheating 10 years ago, but I feel like this is a different situation. The understanding was that this was an open marriage that the dear spouse asked for. Am I wrong here? I hope after 10 years you've built a career and the ability to support yourself so you can leave. Dear spouse is far too kind of a term for this idiot. The person who supposedly loves you told you they don't find you attractive and want to sleep with other people, but still want you to keep the house, be the cook and the live-in nanny. And then you hear that they were talking about you like some worthless, pathetic person. You decided to ask their permission to participate in the open marriage they asked for and have been participating in for over a decade. They told everyone it was one-sided and they had no idea, and you ruined the relationship. Why are you doing this to yourself? File for divorce today and go find someone who gives a damn about you. You're better off alone than you are with this person. Your spouse treats you with zero respect and you're teaching your kids to accept being treated this way in a relationship. Stop focusing on what your partner wants like you're irrelevant. It's not just about one person bending to the will of another. Get some resilience in your backbone and offer shared custody or none. Don't continue to placate this user. You deserve better.